Alrighty. Well, in this lesson, we're going to talk about what happens when we have a copy or a multiplication of a decimal. So let's take, for example, the problem 3 times 2/10. It's saying we have 3 copies of 2/10. So one way to think about that is we have our ones place value and we have our tenths place value. I'm running out of room there. Okay, and so it's saying we have 3 copies of 2/10. So 1, 2, that's 1 copy, right? 1, 2, that's 2 copies. 1, 2, that's 3 copies. And so if we added all of those up, 3 copies is 6/10. So 3 copies of 2/10 is 6/10. Okay. Let's practice a couple more of these. I'm going to erase my screen here. Doop, 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 doop. It doesn't want to let me erase this line. Erase, erase, erase. There we go. Okay. Yeah, see, you still have to deal with my shenanigans even on video. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's say we had 2 copies of 423 thousandths, right? So if we had 2 copies of that. So we're going to think about our place value. We have the ones and then our decimal. Then we have our tenths. Then we have our hundredths. Right? And then we have finally our thousandths. Okay, so if we have 2 copies of this number in the tenths place value, right, we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the hundredths place value, we have 2. And in the thousandth, we have 3. Okay, well, I'm just right now showing 1 copy. And it says we have 2 copies of that. So I need to copy down this exact same thing again. So 4/10, 2 hundredths, and 3 thousandths. Okay? Then when we go to add these, I get 8 here, 4 here. Let me see if I can move my cute little face here. There we go. Okay, you may not think it's cute, but whatever. And we have 6 here. So we can quickly see and we can model that 2 copies of 423 thousandths is 846 thousandths. So it's just an easy way to model out what those copies are, okay, and how we can show and express that multiplication with our decimals. So let's go ahead and try maybe a little bit bigger one. Let's try something like 6 copies, or 6 times 1 and 21 hundredths, okay? And so if we use our model here, one of the ways that we can do this is we can model our multiplication, right? So we could do our ones place value. So this will be 1, 1, 2 tenths, and 1 hundredth. I'm going to run out of room here. Don't mind me while I write up the side of that screen there. Okay, and then we're going to do 6 times those, okay? So again, thinking about our place value. So 6 times 1 is, so we're going to have 6 ones, right? So it's just another way to show this. We're going to have 6 times 2, which is 12 tenths. And then we're going to have 6 times 1, which is 6 hundredths. Okay. So when we take all of those and we look at them, well, I have an issue here with my tenths, right? Because I can't have 12 tenths. Because at the point that I have 10 tenths, what happens is I have one more 1. So we're going to take that, we're going to move that 1 over here, and that's going to leave me with 2/10, right? And then we're just going to add this up. So I've got 7 1s. Oh, I don't know why that didn't write there. Sorry, y'all. 1s. And then 2/10. And I keep my 600s. I didn't have to do anything over there. So that means that we have 7 and 26/100ths. And that would be our multiplication there for this one. So just again, another way to model it, showing those place values and using kind of a place value chart. So you notice I did dots, I did words. I'm just kind of trying to come up with some different ways to show and model that multiplication, because you're going to be asked to do that in the lesson in your book today. So let's practice one more. If you're ready to go on to your book, I suppose you could do that, but I want to do one more example really quickly for you. So we're going to do 7 copies of 2 and 41/100ths. And again, we're going to try out our place value chart with words. Okay, so we have 2 1s. I'm going to try and write a little smaller this time. We have 2 1s. We have 4/10ths. Okay, and then we have 1. Oops, I should probably write that as the digit instead of in word form. I was about to write that in word form, and that may not be the best. 1, oops, come on, darling, 1/100th. Okay. And so, again, we're just going to multiply that times our 7 out here, okay? So, when we look at that, 7 times 2, or 7 copies of 2 is 14. So we'd have 14 1s, okay? 7 times 4, or 7 copies of 4, right? That's repeated addition is another way of thinking of this. So 4 plus 4, which is 8, plus 4, which is 12, plus 4, which is 16, okay? So we know we have 16/10. Hopefully you guys saw what I did there, or figured that out, okay? And then 7 times 1, that's fairly straightforward. 7 times 1 is 7, right? 1 times anything is that same number. So we have hundredths there. Okay, again, I have a problem with my 1's place value and my 10th's place value, but I'm going to deal with my 10th's place value right here first, because I can't have 16 there. The second that I hit 10, right, it bumps up to that next place value, so I'm going to add a 1 over here, and that means I'm going to take away 10 here, which leaves me with 6/10. And I picked a different color here just so you guys could see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to switch colors again, and I'm going to come over here to my 1s. And now I have 15 1s because I've added this red 1 to the 14. So I have 15 1s, and anytime I have 10, I have to move over to my next place value. So in this particular case, I'm really only going to have 5 1s, and then I'm going to have 1 10. That is a really sloppy writing. I do not know why sometimes my lovely little pen here writes beautifully and sometimes it doesn't. So now I'm going to kind of combine all those and get my product, okay, of 7 times 2 and. So I have 15, right, and 67/100ths. So there we go. There is our repeated addition or multiplication using our place value charts, which is what you're going to do in your practice on your own. All right.